psychotherapists who are going to use these YouTube videos to address various new exciting things in the field of psychotherapy and how it's changing. And today that is very much what we're here to talk about, which is
talk therapy limited? We believe it is.
We were trained very traditionally, myself all the way back in the 80s, in true psychoanalytic traditional talk therapy, which meant basically, a client would come in and we would identify past memories and relationships, failures, trauma. As you recount them, I would identify the feelings that were being displayed. Like literally you had to feel the feelings. And then I would have you process those feelings as they're displayed. And we would have to keep processing them until you kind of got to the point where they just didn't feel like they carried such a negative, they didn't have such a negative influence on you anymore. And you know what? Sometimes that could really be time consuming, not to mention the pain of having to drag people back through, re-experiencing something that basically, who wants to revisit that stuff?
Often painful for not only the client, but as therapists, it was painful as well. I just felt like that as a therapist, that my tools at my disposal were just not there. I wasn't trained with enough tools to get my client where I needed to get them.
Right, so we were really basically extremely frustrated in our field. We both just knew or hoped that there had to be a better way, an easier way. What we were describing before could also be very expensive, not to mention the expense involved. Sometimes months of this, even years.
And not to mention the insurance route where you had to diagnose and label. It's something that we fundamentally, I don't know about this. This is something that we don't feel comfortable always doing.
Right, so basically what happened is Cara and I just kind of did a deep dive into researching what other kind of modalities are out there, and we were thrilled to find that actually there have been just a number of breakthroughs, even some as recent in the past decade in the field of neuroscience and brain science, and how our minds store and process memories. It was very tangible information that as human behaviorists it was information that we found we could use directly to do exactly what we were frustrated about. Stuff that helped us speed up the process, make it a lot less painful, a lot quicker. And another interesting little thing is also a way that kind of put the progress squarely in the hands of the client, of the person.
So it made the client accountable for their own healing. And we call this subconscious mind healing, because what we have understood is the power of the subconscious mind and how it dictates our behavior.
What did we find out? We found out that memory is stored in the subconscious mind. And all of that time in talk therapy, we were dealing with the conscious mind. So first of all, have us therapists been dealing with the wrong part of the mind all these years?
What is the conscious mind? That would be the analytical, critical, judgment part of your mind that we all have to have, of course, to get by in our lives. We didn't know as therapists that that's what we were dealing with every single time that we had a client in for therapy.
Our memories are stored and processed in the subconscious mind. So first of all, that was identified. The next thing that was helpful that was identified is the form in which they're stored. They're stored in the form of energy.
That's right. And so the subconscious mind is holding all of this energy, right? So it's negative experiences that have dictated the way we react as adults. So think about all of these negative experiences. What Tracy and I have come up with is a term known as a cluster. So all of these negative experiences have built up since we were toddlers.
A lifetime of experiences accumulated.
It's part of just being human. So now, fast forward, we have all of these negative experiences that have built and built and built. And that is the filter by which we now view our world.
Right. And now that we know that, we have figured out how we can basically go in and bust up this accumulated amount of negativity.
Break up those clusters, form new neural pathways. That's where the plasticity comes into this equation. And there you can move on. You can release all of this emotional attachment that you have to these negative experiences.
So plasticity, just is a little bit self-explanatory if you think about what does that mean. Well, it means something can be molded, malleable, changeable, manipulated. Now that we realize, because energy is malleable and can be molded and can be manipulated, that's basically, now we've got something to work with, right? We go to where the memories are stored. We bust up those clusters through energy exercises, bust up the energetic frequency of those clusters, and the level of negativity just becomes dissipated. You still have your memories, but the negative emotions, the intensity of the emotions attached to them become dissipated, and that filter that Cara was referring to, the filter is just kind of gone. And now you're able to look at an experience in front of you and just see it kind of more, keep it in its proper perspective.
There's a detachment to the emotion that you once had. The memory's not gone, of course, but the emotion that's attached to it, it begins to dissipate, and that's when the healing takes place.
And listen, this is science. And so that's what that's why we were so thrilled, is because for years, imagine being in a career, for decades and knowing it one way, and it happened to be a subjective way. It was very much a subjective field that we were in. And imagine now we actually have science backing up what you're doing. It's no longer subjective. It's like the real deal. Things can be measured. The changes in the brain that take place can be measured. So we now know that you act a certain way given the way you've been programmed over your life, your entire lifetime. And now we know that we can actually change the program. That's what we set out to do. We reprogram the negativity into positivity, because then we imprint positive winning scenarios after we break up those negative clusters, and it's like a whole new reboot of the brain.
It sounds intriguing, doesn't it? Well, be sure and check us out. We've got a lot to talk about, not only on this YouTube channel, but we've got a lot to talk about on our website. So you can go check us out there as well. It's SoulHappy.com.
So do that and have a great day, and we'll look forward to seeing you